Imagine being paid double your highest rate for a single night's work. Welcome back to Whispers. In 1997, Kuwait, Noura was one of the most sought-after wedding singers in the city. But one evening, she received a sudden, last-minute phone call. A woman with a hushed, urgent voice offered Noura and her band a massive, secretive payout to perform at a wedding that very night. The only catch was that it was a strictly exclusive event, and they had to leave immediately. A private driver picked the band up, driving them deep into the desolate desert, miles away from the city lights. Eventually, they arrived at a sprawling, lavish courtyard mansion illuminated by hundreds of lanterns. Noura stepped forward to greet the host, but the moment their hands met, she was momentarily taken aback. The woman's skin wasn't just warm, it was uncomfortably hot to the touch, rough and dry like sun-baked leather. The wedding was spectacular, but as Noura and her band began to play, a creeping dread set in. The air was suffocatingly heavy. The guests wore elaborate, beautiful clothing, but they danced with a strange, frantic energy. Bodies thrashed and jerked with an aggressive, violent rhythm, and the heavily veiled women spun wildly, their eyes never seeming to blink. Trying to shake the rising anxiety, one of the band members accidentally dropped a drumstick. She crouched down to the floor to retrieve it, glancing at the dancing guests from beneath the long velvet tablecloths. But what she saw made her blood run entirely cold. There were no shoes. There were no human feet. Stomping violently against the marble floor were the dark, cloven hooves of goats. Trembling, she backed up to Noura and whispered the horrifying truth. They weren't performing for a wealthy family. The guests were jinn. Blind panic ripped through the band. A few musicians stopped playing, turning to bolt for the heavy doors. But Noura grabbed them, her eyes wide with terror. She warned them that if they ran, they wouldn't make it out alive. They could not stop performing. If they stopped the music and broke the trance, the jinn would turn on them. If they wanted to survive, they had to keep playing until the sun came up. For hours they performed in pure, unadulterated terror. Their fingers blistered and bled, their voices went completely hoarse, but the music never stopped. Every second stretched into eternity as they watched the hooves stomp and the veiled figures twist, praying desperately for daylight. Finally, the first sliver of morning light broke across the horizon. The moment the sun's rays pierced the heavy air, the frantic dancing faltered. The veiled figures froze. Sensing their only chance, Noura and her band didn't wait. They dropped their instruments and ran. They bolted out of the heavy doors, sprinting blindly into the pale dawn light, their lungs burning, not daring to look back. When they finally stopped, collapsing in the dirt from pure exhaustion, they turned around to look at the lavish mansion they had just escaped. But there was nothing there. The courtyard, the lanterns, the terrifying guests. They had all completely vanished. They hadn't been running from a mansion at all. They were sitting completely alone in the cold morning light, stranded right in the middle of an ancient, abandoned cemetery. Noura never sang another note after that incident. That single, terrifying night led to her stopping her singing career entirely. If you want to see more chilling stories like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Whispers.